I went backpacking in Costa Rica alone with no phone and no place to stay 2 separate times. But it wasn't supposed to happen like this. It all started 12 hours before my flight. I got an email from the hostel saying, "So sorry about the inconvenience, but we're gonna have to cancel the first day of your reservation due to a maintenance emergency." But it was the next day. And when I read this, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Mind you, the hostel I planned on staying in was an all-women's hostel. And this was my first backpacking trip ever, my first solo trip ever. But I wasn't opposed to the idea of staying in a co-ed dorm. So I gave it some thought and some deliberation and booked another hostel minutes away from the original one. So boom, it was settled. But little did I know this would be foreshadowing for not a single thing would go according to plan. And you'll see why.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Costa Rica.
So after 2 flights, I landed in Costa Rica and took about a 40-minute drive to get from the airport to the bus station and the boleteria to get my ticket for the bus. So I had about 2 hours until the next bus came. So I ordered some pescado y papas fritas con ensalada, and simultaneously, while I was on the phone with my phone carrier, because at this point, I still had no service. But eventually, I got that all squared away in the international calling, so I was able to let my parents know that I made it safe, so they didn't send a search party out for me. So I got on the bus, and it was about a 5-hour drive from San Jose to Puerto Viejo, which is a town on the Caribbean coast of Costa Rica, known for its beaches and wildlife and just the nature overall. And about 4.5 hours or so into the ride, we stopped for food and the bathroom. So to use a restroom, it costs money, not a lot, just like a couple of coins in their currency, which is colones, but they also accept USD. So they give you some toilet paper and you do your business. And after that, I went over and bought some empanadas, which was really good. And then we got back on the bus. So finally, we get to the Puerto Viejo stop. And from my hostel, I definitely could have walked because it was about like a 10-minute walk. But I didn't fully know the area yet, so I didn't know what to expect, and it was just safest to. So I get into my hostel, and after the long day had concluded, and so I will see you tomorrow. Good night. Good morning, everyone. Oh my gosh. I had such a great night's sleep considering I'm in an unknown location. I'm just thinking about what's in store for me. I hear the birds chirping. Cue the birds. Today it just feels like such a promising day to me, guys. I don't know. But then I feel this presence around me and I feel my women's senses tingling. Tickle, tickle. And I open my eyes to see this big grown Italian man next to me. And I could tell he was Italian because his murmuring asleep. Reggaeton. But I was like, oh, that's funny. Like, it just spooked me there. Like, at least it's just one. I forgot it was co-ed. Oh my gosh, I turned around and there was a second man next to me. Nah, I'm just playing. They were cool. It caught me off guard, though, but they were pleasant. But in the morning, I did notice that there was a girl on the top bunk. Ooh. And so I was like, okay, noted. I'll talk with her later. But yeah, it was such a pleasant morning, and I got up and was just prepared to wander around the whole day. So I'm walking with no purpose or place to be, just kind of seeing where everything is. And one thing I love is just the quietness of the morning, but listening to the sounds around me, and I just eat that up. Like, I love how I can hear the birds chirping, and I can hear the breathing of people running, and sometimes there's like construction. I'm just so thankful to be alive. Oh my gosh, I'm getting emotional. So I strolled around for like about a mile or so and got some breakfast. And I found a super cute place with, breakfast food, and they had some pastries as well. So after that, I ate my food, and then I sat on the beach for a while, just kind of chilled there. But there was one thing that was missing to this perfect morning. And I wanted to work out. I wanted to run around, get some energy out, lift some weights, do something like that. And then I remember seeing on TikTok that there was this outdoor gym on a beach near me called Playa Cocles. And so, little did I know, I would be back there every single day. So again, I didn't really know the vibe. I saw that I could probably walk there. It's like walking distance. Well, honestly, I can walk anywhere. It doesn't matter how far. But I didn't know if the roads would be safe for me to walk as a pedestrian and being next to cars. So I called an Uber. So I got to the beach. Oh my gosh, it was beautiful. So many restaurants. I got my gym time, which was so nice. The weather was beautiful. It was just fantastic. I was planning on surfing, which I was actually really excited about. But then I saw how strong the currents were, and I had my contacts in too. I didn't really feel like getting thrown around a washing machine today and not knowing like which way is up or down or left and right, because my contacts are in, so I can't do like the left or right trick with my hands in the water because I can't see. And then they're gonna have to get the lifeguard out there, and people are gonna have their phones, and they're gonna record me, and then I'm gonna have to be resuscitated and brought back to life, take their phones, put them in the ocean so no one gets any footage of me being battered by Mother Nature. And it's this whole thing I feel like we can just avoid if I just, take a step back. So I read for a bit, played mermaid in the water, and at that point I was ready to go back. And so I took an Uber back to do some sightseeing of the place that I was already in. And I love healthy food, so I got some cool snacks from this like herbal wellness shop thing. I got these like freeze-dried mushrooms. Kind of taste like pork rinds and like a little bit with the seasoning. It was really good. Then I got this fruit bar with no bad stuff in it, just like fruits and nuts, and that was pretty good. And I got the acai bowl, and it was pretty good, and started talking with this girl I met in line. But around this time, I went back to the original hostel to see it in person, to make sure I was all set for the rest of my stay for the remainder of that week. But turns out, in less than a day, they canceled my entire reservation.
For the second time! Thank you so much for the gift.
Instead of staying there for the rest of the duration of my trip,
like planned,
which was until Sunday, I could only stay there tomorrow and the next day after.
No shelter Saturdays.
And also, they actually only had single rooms left, which was way more expensive than the like mixed rooms with all the girls in one room. And the cherry on top was they only accepted cash. Listen, I could have freaked out. I could have blown my top off, or however the phrase goes, for canceling my stay, leaving me stranded, one would say. But I didn't at all. Like, I just took a breath and I booked it, because why not? Like, I love a change of scenery. I wanted to stay there. It was a beautiful place, and I give myself what I want always.
Period.
And so I booked it and I kept it pushing, and all I need to do left is just find a place for Saturday night.
Take your time, Pastor.
But I'll figure it out. It'll work itself out. And if you had told me this would be the way that I'm thinking years ago, like a year ago, months ago, like, it's just astounding how different I feel, like how calm I am these days. At peace with the world, one could say. I frolicked to the ATM place, withdrew some cash, I got a new piercing, and boom, bada bing, we're back on track.
Yeah! Good God.
Anyways, so now I'm hungry, and after some further wandering, I went to this restaurant on the beach and got a casado, which is this like traditional Costa Rican dish with rice, beans, plantains, salad, a protein, so you can get like steak, fish, pork, that type of stuff. It was so good. It was really good. And I got this gigantic passion fruit smoothie, which again is super popular. I got all different types of fruit juices and stuff. But I started reading this book called How Champions Think in Sports and in Life. And it's a self-help book by Bob Rotella, who is a sports psychologist who's coached a lot of athletes. And he talks about the mental challenges of the best in athletics and other areas of life. And he touches on self-image, and this one part of the book I absolutely loved. Rotella was talking to a wife of one of the golf players that he coached, and she was talking to him about her husband's abilities and his confidence, and why is it so low if he's so good. But Rotella said, well, do you consider yourself a confident, attractive woman? And she replied, yes, I do. And he proceeded to say, well, if I gave you a job to work with the most beautiful models in the world, would you feel that same way? Likewise, regarding her husband's golf abilities, sure, you were the best golfer in your high school team, even college, but how will your self-image be tested when your identity is no longer being the best? And it's funny because being on a solo trip, you have nothing but time to think and reflect. And being in a new area with no plan, especially as an early riser, the days seem very long. And as I was reflecting on my perception of myself, specifically on my self-image, sure, it fluctuates through like different seasons of life, but pretty consistently throughout my entire life, I've been very confident and I've always loved to stand out. Like in high school, I can remember before I even knew what exposure therapy was, I would wear things that was out of my comfort zone. Like I remember wearing red velvet pants or something like that because A, I liked how it looked, but B, I just kind of wanted to prove to myself that I could do something out my comfort zone. So I've noticed a big shift within myself about what I give power and weight to. I now ask for people's opinions a lot less, like even in minor things, because it builds rapport within myself to have the confidence within my decisions. And traveling just maximizes that confidence, especially doing it alone. And I've noticed, I absolutely used to love hearing people's first impressions of me, good or bad. And I don't know, I just kind of liked it, not putting too much weight on it. I just thought it was cool. But beyond that small enjoyment, I was thinking, like, who are you to me? Like, actually, truthfully, like, why would I listen to your perception of me when I don't fully know who you are? Like, what you stand for, what you let slide, what you cheer for. I don't know the projections from yourself that you put onto me. It's kind of like in middle school when people would do like for TBH. Girl, I don't even know who user 2278 is. Like, how'd you find this account? A lot of people don't fully know themselves or why they do the things that we do. Like, how can we? It's a journey throughout the entire duration of our lives. So how can I expect you to know me based off of the limited, curated information that I give to you? And you build this perception based off of how your life was shaped. So looking at it this way, I was like, why in the world would I give any amount of weight to somebody I don't even know like that? But the most weight I give to myself, because I have the absolute most data among anybody else on this entire earth about why I do the things that I do. So I got up from the table and I was feeling great from this epiphany. And so I walked back to my hostel. I was walking with a hop. I was feeling like, wow, like what a new outlook on life. And so when I got back to the hostel, I ended up meeting the girl that was on the top bunk. So we ended up talking for a bit and she tells me about this yoga class that she's going to. So I asked if I could tag along. And y'all, when I tell you, I was doing research on the yoga place before I went, and I saw that it was a hostel too. So not only after we hiked up this gigantic hill, I got to see this beautiful spot overlooking the water. I had a fantastic yoga class, and I booked a place to stay for my final day on Sunday. So now I have all my housing secured, and after the class I asked her if she wanted to get dinner with me, so we went to this Italian spot on the way back home. And yeah, I went to bed and that was it. But such a thought-provoking, relaxing day. But I am so tired. Good night. Buenos días. Y pura vida. ¿Y qué hora es? Es tiempo para la playa. Sí.
I don't get tired of the beach.
So yeah, today was yet again another beach day. So I packed up all my stuff to get ready because I'm switching hostels today to the all-women's hostel. But first I need to get some food. So I ended up walking for a while and found this really good breakfast spot. I was anticipating this day to be really warm, so I was so excited because I went to the grocery store and I bought all these different types of fruits, and I got this little candy also. And on the way there, I was like, no, I want to get the mangoes that I saw earlier when I was walking around at this little stand. So I head back to the hostel to cut up the fruit, and then I rent a bike from there, and so I was off. But not gonna lie, I kind of forgot how to ride a bike for a couple seconds because I'm so used to the brakes being on the handles. But I forgot to reverse the pedals also allows you to stop. So for like a good 5 minutes, I'm like riding a couple of feet, then falling off, and then now I've attracted an audience because I'm literally on the side of the hostel, like on the street. And so sure, everybody look at the pretty girl, be bad at something. Thank God for once, like I'm bad at something. Like, get on with your day. So now I'm doing that little thing, like, when like, oh, so they gave me a defective bike. Like, I'm inspecting the gears. I'm like pressing on the wheel, trying to like talking about like it needs some air. It definitely is like flat or something because like the aperture, like, it was affecting my. So I'm just trying to find something to make it look. And the fruit, oh my gosh, the fruit is getting tossed around all around that basket. So nevertheless, I got to figure it out. So I get on a bike and I in fact remember because I am not 12 years old. And ooh-wee, baby. I was having the time of my life. One thing I love is I love the beach and fruit. So oh my gosh, I was enjoying myself so much. So, and oh my gosh, and then I got to work out. Calm down. And I also got to work out, and that was a great time. And I ate my mangoes as well. Unfortunately, it started to rain, and little did I know that the water was defiling my phone and its circuitry, because I didn't think it was that bad. Oh my gosh, listen to this video as soon as I pulled over trying to get some more videos. It was playing, I didn't even notice. As I bike back, water was filling up my contacts. But anyways, I get back to the area kind of closest to me, like there was a beach closer to my hostel. Because I don't know the rain patterns, like how heavy it would be. So I thought it would be best to stay over near where I'm staying. This dog came up to me. I was eating my mangoes. It was a cute little area. I started eating the other candy. But yeah, it was nice for a bit. And I say a bit because, you know, I had to tell it. I went back. Ooh. Yeah, as soon as that sun started shining, I returned. Because I don't know what it is. I think I just like the atmosphere. And I do what I want. And I had a blast for like 3 seconds because this time, once I was there, oh my gosh, the rain was 10 times harder. And this is definitely for a fact where the damage happened. But I don't regret it at all. Like, I enjoyed myself. So I'm riding back, my eyes twitching because the rain is like penetrating my contact lenses. And the wind is just blowing me off my bike, basically. And it's like, I'm not gonna lie, I felt like E.T. Like, I can't remember if he was in the back. No, he was in the back. Well, you get what I mean. But I was giggling. I thought this was hilarious. I don't know why, but I was having a really fun time. Because granted, it was probably like a mile plus so, like, bike back. But I thought this was so funny. I don't know why. So at this point, I ride my bike over to the new hostel. And it's within walking distance of the old one I was just at. So I walk back to the old one, I get my backpack and all my stuff, and I bring it to the new hostel. Mind you, I'm still, like, I'm on FaceTime with my parents by now, and it is, like, coming down. And so I get to the new hostel, and the lady showed me around. It was beautiful. It was such a nice area. The people were so kind, and I get to my room. As a young lady does, I go to the bathroom, and I take some selfies. And I was like, why is the color off? And I look a couple of times. I'm like readjusting my eyes. I'm like, it's gotta be me. It's gotta be me. But pretty quickly, I'm like, no, yeah, this is definitely water damage. So as soon as that thought came into my head, I took like 20 more pictures just because I knew it was gonna turn off. And so half the screen went black. Okay, I'll stay calm. I was calm. I was like, okay. And all of it went black. So I was like, shoot, okay. What do I do? And don't be in my comment section saying, well, you shouldn't have your phone out in the water anyways. First of all, it was rain. Second off, correct me if I'm wrong. Aren't they waterproof? Isn't that how it's marketed? That's how it's marketed. Okay, I looked it up. It's actually iPhones are water resistant, not waterproof. But you know what I call that? I call that deceptive marketing. But that's another story for another day. Hey, Sydney. Girl, what? I'm recording. Totally understand. But it's taking way too long to edit. So, like, wrap it up in the next 60 seconds. Okay, so now, I have no phone, which means I have no access to maps, and I still need to get to my next hostel. I can't contact my family or my friends, and I still can't access my boarding pass, which I need to get home. But it's not the end of the world. And then I remember I might lose all my photos, which basically means it's the end of my world. But then I run to the grocery store and buy a bag of rice, and by the grace of God, I forgot I brought my iPad and my Kodak digital camera. So after connecting to the hostel's Wi-Fi, I was finally able to contact my family and my friends to let them know I was okay. While I FaceTimed my mom through her iPad, she called American Airlines so I could hear to contact them to get my confirmation code, so I was able to log into my account and get my boarding pass. Shout out to American Airlines, and if you want to do work, please let me know, send me an email. I had to return my bike to the previous hostel, got dinner, and called it a night. The next day, I ate some fruit for breakfast, then I rented a motorcycle and rode it all throughout the streets of Costa Rica. And I mean, I spent the entire day just biking as far as I could. I did a bunch of sightseeing, I ate some really good food while I was out, and I went back to the hostel and met some super nice girls. We talked for a bit, we sang some karaoke together, and we went out together that night. I packed all my stuff up and headed to the last hostel. It was at the top of this big mountain, and all I had was a blurry picture of the maps on my camera and a dream. But at this point, my sense of direction was impeccable, and I knew where almost anything and everything was. After I checked in and dropped off my backpack, I just started walking. I walked for probably like 15 miles that day because I thought it'd be fun, and I was leaving the next day. And so along my walk, I got a souvenir. I saw so many scenic locations. I did some reading, and at this point, I'm only pretty much speaking Spanish. Like, I'm not really leaning on English much at all, which I'm so proud of. When it was around sunset, I bought an entire box of pizza because I wanted to lay in a hammock with my pizza as the sun went down back at my hostel. I got to enjoy this beautiful hostel, and when I tell you, pictures do not do it justice. Like, this was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I met this 50-year-old man who was one of my roommates, and we talked about religion, psychedelics, dictatorships, and yoga. Before I went to bed, I reheated some of my leftovers on the stove because there was no microwave. There was just gas, water, and a lighter. And that concluded my night. I woke up bright and early, checked out of my hostel, walked to the bus station, and got on the bus for the 5-hour bus ride. I took a taxi back to the airport, I took my 2 planes, and I made it back home. As you can tell, I was able to get my photos back, but this was about after a week of not having any phone, because I was advised to leave it alone so it backs up to the cloud. And the cloud my butt because it backed up nothing, and so I just took a risk and got the screen replaced. But like I said throughout the entire video, with the exception of one moment when I got home and realized I may not actually get these moments back, I knew I would get the pictures back, and if I didn't, that'd be okay too. But there's no point in crying over something that I can't even fix. So, hope you enjoyed this video because lots more like it is coming soon. But you know what they say, Pura Vida y manténlo simple y simple.